yeah, before I forget, I have to record because Estrella doesn't won't come anymore on Mondays. No, ya no vendrá en Mondays, so I have to record. Yes. Remember the partial is the uh, written exam is classroom, which is 50 percentage. No, when I share my screen so you can know. Yeah. Mhm. So it is 50 percentage, 15 percentage, the writing, and 35, no, which was um, the exam, no, the maximum was 35, so the total it gives you this, no, the total of the written exam, and 95. Well, or the oral exam was the presentation. Do you remember la presentación que hicieron that you presented the biography of the famous person? So it was that, no, it was that. Mhm. So just remember a quick reminder that, well, I know that we don't have like the classes that we used to have face to face, and it was only the exam, no? In the past, no, in CELE, it was only the exam, no? Antes nada más era el examen. But here, because we have online classes and we don't have, well, we do have classes on Tuesday and Fridays, which is on Classroom, ¿no? Que es lo ideal que ustedes you are an autonomous, no, and you it's a collaborative work between me and you, no, 50 percentage me and the other 50 percentage you, no? So that's why it's very important. Yeah, no es que no tengamos clases, sino que it's is that you work at home, no, Tuesday and Fridays, no. Sometimes I leave homework and sometimes I don't, no. A veces sí dejo, a veces no. But if I don't leave, in if you haven't done a homework and a late homework or or a homework that I left for other day, well, it's the opportunity, no? And the same, no? Tuesday and Fridays are, if you are having problems with a grammar, ¿no? Si tienen algunos problemas con el grammar, entonces me pueden decir y con gusto I explain again. We connect. If you require that, I connect, and then I give you extra activities, no? Mhm. And well, you are working on the fourth edition. Aún están trabajando en el fourth edition, which is fine. It's all right. It's okay because you don't have to spend money on the new version this semester. But if you pass the next semester, I highly recommend that you pay for the new version, the fifth edition, the new Headway fifth edition, que les va a tocar el pre-intermediate level. Um, why is very convenient is because here, well, I have the books here, obviously, and digital, but the opportunities that is a lot of money. Yeah, it's like 1,100 pesos, but it's this book that you will be working next semester. Mhm. Next semester, you will be working on this student's book, and this is the workbook, of course. And well, the advantages of having that is you have it physical, the student's book and the workbook for 1,100, and only on in Cele, because if you go to other like bookstores or online on Amazon or other websites, sometimes they just you just can buy this one and it doesn't have the workbook, and besides that it doesn't have the online practice, no. Entonces tenemos la ventaja de que si lo compramos en el CL, aparte de los dos libros físicos, tienen acceso, ¿no? En línea. The access that it is here. ¿No? So, for example, I have my my class well, obviously you have to create account, sign in, and then it goes to your practice. This is not the book. This is the first book, the green book, but the new edition. And then, well, you have a lot of activities here, extra activities, and you can practice. You can hear, and you hear the audio. We're here.
1.
You know? And
2.
there's a lot of resources, which is the audio and the video. Some videos you can find it on Google, on YouTube, but other videos, especially this edition, especialmente esta edición.
Hello,
No?
and welcome.
There's always a video introduction, and then so consider of buying the book next semester, because there is only one chance you can get it the time that Cele sells the books. So you will have the advantage of having this. Que ahorita con la 4th edition ya como que la están sacando. It's out nowadays. So the purpose of this is that next year you won't be using the 4th edition, ¿no? El siguiente año ya no se va a usar the 4th edition, ¿no? Entonces está súper bien, ¿no? Más ahorita con las online practice, online classes. So practice, no? Save money to buy that. I know that it's a lot of money, but it's worth it, no? I remember when I was studying English in the past, long time ago, when I was in secondary school. Well, I didn't have, we didn't have the online practice or these MP3 players. They were only CDs or tape recorders, no? A veces venían en cassettes, no? And you have to play the tape recorder or the CD player. So it was totally different, no? Okay, guys, so we continue with our book. Yeah, it was a commercial, from comercial, motivational, I think. So I can convince you of buying the book, no? I know that the economy sometimes is difficult, and if you don't have other way, well, you can buy it digitally, no? I mean, it's as long as you write your notes, no? As long as you write your notes or on your notebook on a sheet of paper, that would be great. And if you learn it by that, it's fine for me. No, no crean que les estoy obligando. It's not mandatory, but it's it has this plus. No, it has plus. Okay, guys. So our topic for today is city living. Let me close this page. Sometimes it's closed. Okay, city living. We are in unit 9. So our topic will be for these weeks will be comparatives and superlative adjectives. Have got, town and country, and direction. No. Remember, the adjectives go before a noun, no? And we have comparatives and superlative adjectives. So think of a town in your country. Say where it is. Okay, for example, Cuernavaca, it's in the north of Morelos. It's near the mountains. It isn't on the river, but it has a lot of gullies, barrancas, gullies, and forests. It sometimes people say that it's the eternal spring. No? So we're going to listen to a description of 2 cities. Yeah, so you have to pay attention and tell me which cities are they talking about. So pay attention.
Unit 9. Tape script 9.1. City living. 1.
This city is in the southeast of the country. It's very big and very old. It's about 50 kilometres from the sea, and it's on a famous river, the River Thames.
2.
This city
is in the north and centre of the country. It's about 200 kilometres from the sea and it's on the River Seine. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world.
Okay, one more time. One more time.
Yes.
Unit 9, Tape Script 9.1, City Living. 1.
This city is in the southeast of the country. It's very big and very old. It's about 50 kilometres from the sea and it's on a famous river, the River Thames.
2.
So which city are they referring to? This city is the southeast of the country. It's very big, very old. It's 50 kilometers of the sea. The River Thames is there. The Queen lives there.
London?
The Queen. Ah, yes, London.
This city is in the north and centre of the country. It's about 200 kilometres from the sea and it's on the River Seine. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world.
And some people say that is one of the most romantic cities in the world. It has beautiful buildings as well.
France?
France, specifically, what city? Which city?
Paris?
Paris, yes, exactly. Yeah, so it's London and Paris. No, we heard the description of those cities. Then we have here the Eiffel Tower and the Gherkin building in London. No, so in a moment we're going to compare them. No, we have another conversation. Yeah. So which do you prefer, London or Paris?
Tape
Let's hear
Script
the conversation.
9.2. Which do you prefer, London or Paris?
Well, I'm from Paris, so of course, I love Paris.
London's a lot bigger than Paris.
It's true, Paris is much smaller, but it's more romantic.
Yes, this is what people say.
And the food is better.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
So as I said before, today's topic is about comparatives. No, London is a lot bigger than Paris. The adjective should be big, but here is comparing, entonces bigger than. No, Paris is much small. No, because we are comparing two things, so smaller, but it's more romantic. Yeah, more romantic. Yeah, and the food is better. Yes, the food is better. It's good. No, it's better because we are comparing. No. So well, no, I'm not sure about that because the best food is in Mexico. The best food, obviously. Yeah, so practice the conversation, but before practicing, we're just gonna practice in a moment. Yeah, what are the difference between London and Paris? No, for example, London is bigger than Paris. What about this? What can you say about these monuments, about these buildings? The Eiffel Tower in Paris is what?
Color?
Taller than the Gherkin, no? We can say something about the Gherkin. The Gherkin building is...
Teacher, how do you say como moderno? ¿Se puede
Mo
decir?
modern. Modern.
Is modern.
More modern, no? More modern than the Eiffel Tower. ¿Qué más? What else? What about old? Viejo, old? The Eiffel Tower. What can we say?
The Eiffel Tower is older.
is older than the gherkin. No. Okay, so yes, so it is about grammar. Yeah, the grammar, it's comparatives because it has a comparison between two things. No, London is bigger than Paris. Yeah, Paris is more romantic. It's the most, well, that's a superlative. No, primero con los comparatives. One syllable adjectives all say big and hot. In order to make it comparative, we add er, ¿no? Siempre que hay estos short one syllable adjectives, we have to add er, yeah, at the end of the adjective. All becomes older, safe, safer, big, bigger, hot, hotter, no? For example, we can say Jojutla is hotter than Cuernavaca, no? Mexico City is bigger than Cuernavaca. Yeah. Then we have other adjectives which end in Y. For example, noisy becomes noisier. So what do we add? We add IER, IER. Yeah. Dirty, dirty. Noisy is ruidoso, ¿no? Noisy, noisier. Dirty, sucio. Dirty, sucio. Dirtier. ¿No? We can say Cuernavaca is dirtier than other cities in Mexico. No? It's dirtier. Two or more syllable, but what happens if we have a normal syllable or a long syllable like boring and beautiful? Simple, it's like in Spanish, no? We add more, más, no? More boring, no? We can say Arabic is more boring than English, no? Arabic language is more boring than English. Eiffel Tower is more beautiful than the London Eye, no? You can say in London. Then we have irregular adjectives, no? Yeah, before that, sometimes me quieren poner more all, more, quieren poner el more aquí en los adjetivos cortos, but no, this is incorrect, guys, so don't do that because that is Spanglish. Yeah, so remember, it's noisier than, it's dirtier than. No podemos decir it's more noisy, it's more big, it's more hot. No, because that's Spanglish, no? Solamente more se ocupa para long adjectives, ¿vale? Then we have irregular adjectives, for example, good, better, ¿no? Bad, worse, yeah, far, que es lejos, further, ¿no? Y aquí tenemos other explanation. Adjectives which end in vowel and one consonant, double the consonant. Example, fit, fitter, thin, delgado, thinner, ¿no? Fit es está en forma, de fitness, ¿no? And two more syllables, we use more, more modern, more polite. Nada más que polite puede tomar las dos formas, politer o more polite, es correcto, ¿no? Quiet, quiet, quieter, clever, que es intelligent, cleverer, ¿no? So those are the rules. Also, we can make a comparison stronger, like making an emphasis. Podemos decir, London is much more beautiful than Paris. O también podemos decir, Dave's a lot more handsome than Pete, no? Also, we can say, Culiacan is much, much hotter than Jojutla, no? Okay, so we can go back to the book, yeah, to unit 9. And then we have these adjectives, for example, tall, taller, expensive, expensive,
More expensive.
yes, cheap, cheap,
Cheaper,
nice,
nicer,
wet, Wet? More wet or wetter?
More wet.
Wetter.
Wetter.
Wetter, because it's a short adjective. Warm.
Warmer.
Cold.
Colder. Colder.
Colder. Polite.
More polite.
More polite.
More?
Exactly. Yes. Beautiful.
More beautiful.
beautiful.
Bad.
Mm,
Irregular.
Worse. Algo así.
Worse. And good.
Better.
Better.
Better. Exactly. Pretty. Pretty.
Prettier.
Prettier. Prettier. Intelligent.
More intelligent.
Popular. Popular.
More popular.
More popular. Fun or funny. Funny.
Funnier.
Funnier. Yes, thank you. So just don't forget the rules. Short adjectives, adjetivos cortos, le agregamos ER o IER. Long adjectives, we add more. No? Okay, so you're going to have a practice here. Look at the pictures of London and Paris, no? And compare the two cities. I think, and an adjective from exercise number 2. For example, I think the Eiffel Tower is taller than the Gherkin. I think the Gherkin is more modern than the Eiffel Tower. I think the Eiffel Tower is more expensive than, yeah, I think it's older than, etc. So you can use more adjectives there. Metro, the metro, and the underground. The underground es el metro, pero en England, ¿no? In London, así se le dice, no sé por qué, ya, underground. Bueno, underground porque es debajo, ¿no? De la tierra. Y aquí les viene un adjective, expensive, yeah. I think the metro is more expensive than, I think underground is cheaper than, I think it's, etc. ¿Vale? The weather, I think it's, the weather in Paris is nicer than, is warmer than, wetter than. I think the buildings are, no, porque son, es plural, the buildings are. I think the people in London, o pueden decir Londoners o French people, are more polite, are nicer, are friendlier, no, más amistosos, are more popular, are etc. No, more extravagant or more social. Yes, you can use a lot of adjectives. ¿Vale? Entonces vamos a comparar, más o menos piensen en some adjectives, ¿vale? Lo vamos a hacer en parejas. Lo van a hacer en parejas. Yeah, you're going to work in pairs. This exercise, exercise 3. Y también vamos a hacer el exercise 1, ¿no? El exercise 1 solamente es read the conversation, ¿vale? Ok, mientras los pongo, piensen y en sus adjectives y los pongo in pairs. Practice the conversation and then do exercise number 3, please.
Than de Paris. Más grandes, ¿no? Bueno, ajá, también more beautiful. También sería como bigger.
They are bigger. Continue.
¿Qué es weather?
Clima. El clima.
Consider the where in London is wet that Paris?
Wetter, te faltó, wetter.
Oh, sorry.
Continue.
Okay. I think the buildings of London
Mhm.
are older than buildings of Paris.
Yes, correct.
In London than in Paris.
Okay.
Finish?
Yes.
Are you sure? ¿Seguros?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, so we're gonna wait for the others 1 minute. Yeah.
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Agrega more, ¿no? Porque luego queremos decir, queremos usar para todo more hot, more nice, no, nicer, hotter, etc. ¿Vale? Little by little, ¿no? Little by little we forget about Spanglish, ¿no? But just keep in mind that. All right, so we're gonna listen to Rob. He is Rob. He's an Englishman who lives and works in Paris. Complete his sentences, no? Number 1 is already done for you. The metro is cheaper and easier to use than the underground, no? Okay, so pay attention to this guy and complete the adjectives.
Tape
Well, the
script
comparatives.
9.4.
Well, I like both London and Paris, but they're very different cities. Take transport, for example. The metro is cheaper and easier to use than the underground. And the weather, well, Paris is certainly hotter than London. And Paris, in fact, is wetter than London. But in London, there are more wet days. What about the buildings? Well, people say that the architecture in Paris is more beautiful, but the buildings in London are more interesting. And living in the two cities, well, life is faster in London. And the people? Londoners are generally more polite than Parisians. People in London work harder and they earn more. In Paris, having a good time is more important.
Okay, one more time. Yes, please.
Yes.
Tape script 9.4.
Well, I like both London and Paris, but they're very different cities. Take transport, for example. The metro is cheaper and easier to use than the underground. And the weather, well, Paris is certainly hotter than London. And Paris, in fact, is wetter than London. But in London, there are more wet days. What about the buildings? Well, people say that the architecture in Paris is more beautiful, but the buildings in London are more interesting. And living in the two cities, well, life is faster in London. And the people? Londoners are generally more polite than Parisians. People in London work harder and they earn more. In Paris, having a good time is more important.
Okay, let's check if you were right. So, number 2 is certainly than London. ¿Qué falta here?
Hotter.
Yes, hotter than London. But number 3, Paris in fact is
Wetter.
wetter than London, but in London there are more wet days. Acá, bueno, aquí se contradice. Why? Because here it's an adjective. Wetter es necesario, ¿no? Pero aquí como estamos refiriendo a los days, los días, entonces por eso pone more wet days, ¿no? Okay, the architecture in Paris is
More beautiful?
yes. And London the buildings are
More interesting.
More interesting.
yes, more interesting. And life is
Faster.
faster o quicker también puede ser. Londoners are generally
More polite.
more polite than Parisians. People in London work
Harder.
and they earn
More.
more. Having a good time is more important, yes, than in France, no? Okay, guys, so I want you to do this activity. Yeah, please. Ahorita les pongo el listening. Si se nos va el tiempo, se vuelven a conectar, please, para que les ponga el listening. Mientras hagan, complete the conversation using the comparative form of the adjectives. Tienen two examples aquí y tienen los adjectives between parentheses, ¿no? So, if there are two gaps, a veces es porque tienen que escribir than, ¿no? Si hay two gaps es porque tienen que escribir than. O porque tienen que escribir more, depending on the adjective, ¿vale?